Rain No Longer, Book 1, Chapter 1, Part 3, by Layla Nalapelia. Her face softened into a solemn expression, her fist bunching at the end of Seth's long green sleeve. "I hope you will," the cracked whisper followed. Her voice sounded as if she was almost in tears. Seth slumped a bit, mouth parting to respond when he caught the sound of approaching footsteps. Roughly 5 people at most, and one in particular he recognized. His eyes pinned as he heard the crunching grow closer. His face was toward Ashley, his back aimed where he heard the approaching group. Ashley saw his eyes shift, squinting when she looked around and saw what caused Seth's rapid mood change. She looked a mix of fed up yet also somehow relieved. "Ah," a deep voice emerged which caused Seth to stiffen at the sound. "Look at the happy couple." Seth turned to finally greet the new entry, eyes cold as he landed upon a youth much taller and broader than he was, a man with ash-brown hair and deep green eyes. He had a darker complexion compared to Seth and was smugged in the way he looked down at him. He was roughly around 190 centimeters compared to Seth's humble 170. Intimidating in both height and size, but the most curious factor to him was a similar length scar that blemished his otherwise handsome face. It stretched from the brunette's temple and ended at his lips, more jagged than the one Seth had. The brunette man was a good distance from them, surrounded by a handful of other people, 2 men and 1 woman. Seth counted the steps wrong apparently, but he was close enough. As the brunette man approached closer, his amused expression mostly lingered on Seth himself. He eyed his posture carefully as he approached, calculating. Ashley made a quiet curse or two, like "stupid motherfucker," and he couldn't just stay away today at least. Seth would have gladly joined the gossip, but instead focused on his mask of calm as the group approached. This man usually never came with a group. If he did, there was a reason. But what? He really did not want to know. "Demon," he mumbled. "Or should I call you by your nickname, Dick, since when we both head towards the surface we will probably be called our legal names. Richard isn't all that bad, is it?" Anger flashed in those evergreen eyes, yet the man's smile stayed. "So funny," he replied as they fell into intense silence. Both studied each other's postures, if testing who would throw the first punch. This was the norm between the two. Seth didn't know why, but ever since the day they met, they clashed. Some days the brunette would win. Others, Seth would. The tables used to have more losses on the slighter male's side, but as they got older, it changed. Which was odd, but then again, Seth tended to cheat. Temples, jaws, ribs, eyes, throat. He always wanted to try and stun the other just long enough to bolt. The brunette, on the other hand, tried to have some honor. A contradictory action when one considered his followers' actions, which were anything but that. "Use the name I gave you, Seth. Behave at least today," he warned with an animalistic grin. His large fist clenched as if he was debating on using them. Seth stared briefly at the other's tense hands and arms and was alarmed at the quick escalation. "I really don't want to get punched today," he told himself, knowing his own posture probably looked rigid. He sighed heavily. "Demon, we leave at the end of today. Don't you get tired of fighting? Can't we just skip this for once?" Why bring a posse? He had to ask. He really did not want to fight the other boy today. In fact, he partially hoped this would be the rare peaceful encounter. Then again, it might have been had he not instinctively antagonized the brunette. Yet he did. A bad habit he formed only with him. He watched vividly as the larger male's anger seemed to recede, and that arrogant smile fully returned with a hint of humor. Seth grew hopeful until both Demon and his posse started to chuckle, and that hope went straight out the window. Demon approached closer to him, but alone, as he casually threw his arm around the smaller one's shoulders in what looked to be a friendly manner. Seth naturally flinched at the contact, but tried to not react too obviously. He needed to find a way to move things forward with no conflict created. If it was anyone else, he and Ash would have already lashed out, but a part of him still had this slight fear and deep respect for the other. "You're always so welcoming, Seth," Demon chuckled out. "I really do look forward to more conversations when we finally leave this hellhole for good," he said in a coy manner. A glint of mischief swirled in those emerald eyes as he shook the other. This made Seth wary. Demon had something in mind, and it had to be something he knew Seth would not like. Seth's face twisted with a barely hidden frown. He glared at the imposing figure before he shrugged his arm off. Several steps away, he felt his body thrum with growing anticipation and climbing fear. Demon was still wearing that shit-eating grin, head cocked to the right. His eyes were hinting at something, and it wasn't good. He was in both a humorous and bad mood, a mood Seth hated to be around. I hope he isn't here about the population upkeep rule. If so, me and Ashley are about to have a whole new problem, Seth told himself, waving for Ashley to get ready to retreat. She was quick how she caught on to Seth's growing urgency and tried to leave, when Demon moved far quicker than they predicted and cut the girl off mid-stride. Whoa, whoa. Me and you, dear Ash, have obligations together, he snickered out. Ashley's stare grew harsh in nature, and it only made him laugh more. Ashley, hun, don't you think we would make perfect babies? He exaggerated. He was acting as if this was all just a joke, which it could be. After all, the rules here were that once you chose your partner, no one else could touch them. Demon had claimed he would pursue Ashley about 2 years back, yet he never fell through with it. His claim did more benefit than it did damage, funny enough. Made it easier to keep her safe since everyone respected that general rule. After all, when Kyle and that other man left, Demon was designated the new leader, and since then, the many groups had calmed down a great deal. They were more organized and contributed to their home almost as much as they destroyed it. Granted, not all enjoyed that change. In fact, a handful of unhappy monsters did try and failed to fight this giant, but he always managed to subdue them with ease and filled them with fear. His usual tactic when someone pissed him off was to break their bones or dislocate specific body parts, and he never hesitated. It was cruel, but effective, and something he never applied to either Seth nor Ashley. Seth had noticed it long ago, but brushed it off due to the two having to continue this rivalry. Final part for Chapter 1 next.